Cal Unites to the far side. Josh Thibault, tight end to the near side, and here is Iverson on a first down carry. Gets a good hole up the middle and spins his way to the 40-yard line. LeSharrett, number 3, along with number 44 for CZ. Going to have to bear with us, folks. The light goes on. See, I couldn't reach it because it's way up there at the ceiling, and my partner, who stands 6'7" or so, actually stressed up there and turned the light on for us. Hey, before we go any further, let's pass along congratulations to my partner, Carl McFadden.
Thank you.
He and his wife Jill, the birth of their second child, Will, arrived in this world just a few days ago. A rather large fellow.
Yes, the proud father is announcing he's 10.5 pounds, 24 inches long, and he's almost as big as some of these players out here.
John Beatty, who is much bigger than Will, on the carry that time. Ryan Carlson up from the secondary to make the stop. Flagging the play. Looks like holding based on the fact that Jason Cook grabbed his helmet as if to say, they caught me.
Holding call against Middlesex.
You know, high school football coaching boxes, I mean, if you look at Sean McGuire, he's pretty much at center field there calling his plays.
Yep, Sean standing on the far side, about where the numbers are. Of course, he had to push Rocky Nelson out of the way to get to the numbers.
Absolutely.
Not only does Rocky not stay within the coaching box, doesn't even stay within the confines of the sideline.
Well, I think that's why he has like 92 assistant coaches. By far the greatest amount of coaches in the Middlesex League for assistant coaches, and I think 3 of them there are just trying to pull him back at times.
He could be the get-back guy.
That's right.
2nd and 14 after the penalty against the Middlesex League. Here's Iverson. Again, a nice hole up the middle. 47-yard line.
Iverson on the carry.
One quick personal note, you know, we were able, Mike and I, during the halftime festivities, being able to spend about 4 or 5 minutes with Cliff's wife, Lee Allen, and their son Scott, and Scott's wife Tanya, who's expecting their second child, I believe in the end of January, and they're just wonderful people, and Cliff every day is certainly missed in the Reading athletic family, and what an absolute great family Cliff had.
Terrific to see Scott again. He looks great, and good to see Lee as well. Been in contact with her quite a bit as Tim Reed drops back and fires to the far sideline. Real good coverage there by LeSharrett, number 3, on Iverson, 22.
You know, the Andover coaching staff certainly has made some tremendous adjustments, you know, with this wide-open offense, and the Merrimack Valley kids really have stepped up to really shut down, since the first quarter, the Middlesex League offensive powers.
4th and 10 for the Middlesex League. Thibault back, and let's see if Evan Dunn, number 51, who is right over the football, playing the nose spot. Let's see if he gets the kind of penetration he has in the last 2 attempts. High snap, Dunn on the run again, and this one is blocked. Thibault wisely just covers it up. I don't know if Dunn got it or if it was blocked by Paul Saunders, number 53 from Tewksbury. But both of them were right there. Well, we talked about special teams, Carlos, and Iverson gave the Middlesex League good field position on the opening kickoff, but here's a big play. It doesn't go down as a turnover, but it's just as effective as one. And MVC at their Middlesex League 27-yard line.
And the Middlesex League's got to be aware that Merrimack Valley may go up top and get the quick score here, hoping to catch some confusion with the Middlesex League coming out late on defense. And the Middlesex League is calling timeout, trying to get set up.
9:35 to go, third quarter. A 9-6 lead in jeopardy. The MVC at the 27-yard line. And while we have a moment, folks, we want to pass along a bit of sad news to you. Longtime Reading High Rocket football fan, Joe Ciampa, passed away just a couple of days ago. Joe was at practices and games going back to the 1960s. He'd been a Reading High fan for nearly 40 years. He passed away, a member of the Reading Rocket football family. And a scholarship fund has been set up in his name by his family. Back to that in just a moment as Michael Bernier almost broke it, spun off a tackle, and went down at about the 21-yard line. Joe Dillon of Woburn High School was there on the stop.
Bernier from Drake really has had a very good game running the ball, and he was half a step away from bringing it in for the touchdown.
So we pass along, just to finish my thought, I'll pass along our best to Joe Ciampa's family. And please, if you want to support Joe's scholarship fund, as a Seneca is swarmed by Matt Cohen, number 99.
Matt Cohen, 99 from Reading, is another example of really being a student off the field. He is, believe it or not, he is the governor for the state of Massachusetts from the state senate, believe it or not, from the students. The students, each town represents themselves in essentially a government. Matt was able to win the election to be actually the governor of Reading, of the state of Massachusetts for one day.
Well, we have to be nice to Matt for a lot of reasons. Not the least of which is his dad, Rich, is on the board of directors here at RCTV, so you work for him now, Carl. Tackle made on the far sideline by Brian Skeffington, and a terrific run by Eric Nickerson, just kind of jitterbugged his way along the line of scrimmage.
Brian Skeffington came up from his safety spot to make the tackle. Brian was telling me last week that, he has aspirations of playing wide receiver up at Dartmouth, but the more you see him on defense, I can't imagine they're going to put him over in the wide receiver because he's just a tremendous safety.
MVC will take a timeout. 7:38 to play. 9-6 is the score. Middlesex League on top.
Football team, a two-time Division 1AA national.
Once again, folks, if you're interested in purchasing a copy of tonight's game, the number to call is 781-944-8888. That's the RCTV studio. You can talk with Phil Rushworth or with Amy Bro. All the proceeds from sales of tonight's game will go directly to the Carole Fund, support Camp Carole and the Carole kids who you saw at halftime. We had heard briefly from Pat Egan, one of the most remarkable women I've ever met. Just so strong, Carl, and she's endured an awful lot in her life, and so strong for her kids. She loves the Carole kids, and they're good for each other. They're good for her, and we know that she's great for them.
Pat is just absolutely a tremendous role model for everyone out there.
Eric Mounsey on to attempt a field goal. Ball will be placed at the 28. It'll be a 38-yarder. Mounsey's kick is long enough, but it is no good. Wide to the far side. So both teams have dodged a bullet early in the third. After the block punt, the Middlesex League defensively will hold. They'll take over on downs. Now, Craig, I was just going to say Craig Iverson needs to handle the ball more, Carl, and I think the Middlesex League has thrown the ball a lot. I think they should go back to the running game. I think that they can run the ball against the Merrimack Valley Conference.
Yeah, I mean, the Middlesex League does have some big boys there, and they've been able to have some success pounding the ball. I think you're going to see Coach Nelson, though he's a co-coach with Sean McGuire, may try preaching this, let's have a 9-6 game and tie up the series at 4-4.
Sullivan on the carry. Not much there.
Sullivan on the carry.
One of the things, Mike, you mentioned earlier about Pat Egan is just a tremendous, tremendous lady. She takes approximately 50 children up to Lake Winnipesaukee for camp, where they're not doing anything too elaborate in terms of they're just a bunch of kids having fun with peers that have been stricken or have beaten cancer or are in remission, and the kids have the time of their life. And what she's able to do with those children, and just when you see the kids coming out after camp and hearing the stories of how much joy and pleasure they had at the camp, and the unfortunate part of it is that some of the children, it is their last summer. So for at least a 1 week period, they're having the time of their life, and the parents of these children are amazed of how rejuvenated the kids have been after the camp. I know the Nelsons were amazed at what it did for Tiffany, about 9 or 10 years ago.
A 3rd and 7 situation for the Middlesex League. Reed's last pass for Cal Unites was incomplete. Reed again to Cal. David has the ball at the 35-yard line. That's going to move the chains as Pelletier was there on the stop. Pelletier out of Central Catholic.
David Kalinitis, we mentioned he had a touchdown reception earlier. He's been taking some shots out there. David is deciding between Worcester Academy, doing a prep school for a year, actually going to the baseball academy down in, I believe it's outside of Orlando. He's an absolutely tremendous baseball player that you probably can put your 2 cents in, since your brother being his baseball coach at Reading.
There have not been a lot of center fielders in Reading history that have covered the territory that Cal does, as Sullivan covering some territory here. Try to cut it back inside, cut down at the 19-yard line, and Andy Yurko makes the stop. And I tell you what, to see a number 64 downfield chasing down a running back, Yurko has showed some great speed and determination to stop that from being a touchdown.
Andy did a nice job of really using the sideline as an extra defender and really just angling him out of bounds so that to make the tackle, and so that Sullivan was not able to cut back on him. But Sullivan has pretty explosive speed there, hitting the corner hard.
He had a tremendous junior year, followed it up with an even better senior season for Mike Boyages' Warriors. Reed wants a timeout, and he wants a 20.
Timeout, Middlesex.
6:03 to play, third quarter. 9-6 is our score. The Middlesex League on top. A beautiful night for football here at the Colley Stadium. Hey, they have turned this facility around. It is an absolutely beautiful facility. We were here a couple years ago. The stands on the far side were not operable, let's say, and the stands on the near side probably shouldn't have been. They've done a wonderful job with this facility.
And they've made a commitment in terms of, I believe it's, I really don't know their name, but the Boston professional men's lacrosse team is playing their games here. You can see down on the 10-yard line where the goalie stands have been beat up pretty good, but the Lowell Parks Department has been a godsend with us painting the field, really going above and beyond the call of duty.
It is the Cannons, by the way, in case you were wondering. Reed back. Kalinitis on the up and out, and the pass is incomplete. Little contact on the far side. Cal looking for a call. Ronnie Yannon says, Good coverage by Pelletier. Now, Pelletier's name probably won't show up in the box scores card with a lot of tackles, but he's been very good in pass coverage.
Does a nice job covering. He certainly is overlooked because his man just isn't open, so he's not able to make the tackles. He's doing a tremendous job on the coverage.
2nd and 10. The ball sits at the 30-yard line. Reed sends Cal to the near side. Cardarelli and Berezovsky to the far side, along with the tight end Adam Jenkins. Good idea to go to him every once in a while. A young man that can really play. The pumpkin comes loose and is recovered by the Merrimack Valley Conference, number 68, Brendan Geisler. There on the play. A flag came in the secondary. Little extracurriculars going on.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit heated up. It's about 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. It looked like could have been like an old Statue of Liberty play. Looked like we had a reverse setting up, and Geisler was able to strip the ball out of the quarterback's hands.
Scott Kroll and his officiating crew trying to sort things out. It's Ronnie Yannon. I believe Bob Ferrara is there as well. Scott Kroll was yelling to us to try and tell us what was going on. There were offsetting personal fouls, and then there was an additional 2 personal fouls against the Middlesex League. So, in essence, folks, we got a 30-yarder coming up right here. And you know what? I'm going to call you Craig every once in a while if you don't mind. Carl, I really applaud the fact that they made a call, because far too many times you see, we'll just call it offset and let everybody go home and it'll be fine. But you know what? If someone broke the rules, they need to pay, and here they're paying.
Especially on personal fouls in terms of, we certainly don't want things, A, to get out of hand, and B, someone to get hurt. I mean, this is, it's a charity game, and, I saw Coach McGuire and Coach Nelson asking for the numbers of the gentleman that committed the personal foul, and hope that person stays as far away from Coach Nelson as possible.
The MVC now has the ball on the 33-yard line of the Middlesex League with Josh Tusignant as the quarterback. Here's Darren Shaw over the left side. Dustin Taylor, I believe it is, number 34, was the first man on the stop. He's had himself a pretty good day of football as well. We talked about Albertelli. Taylor's right there as well for the defensive MVP.
You know, the Merrimack Valley that time showed the first time a power I set, and just a quick word to the Merrimack Valley coaches, that's all they run in the Middlesex League. So these guys are familiar with what a power I, what you can do out of it.
Burlington probably in Belmont are the two teams that break the tradition as much as anybody. Now a full house backfield, kid in the middle with Bernier. And here is Bernier, bounces off Toussignant. And he will get inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. That is a tribute right there, Carl, to the offensive line of the MVC as another flag came in back in the secondary. Bernier ran into his own guy, broke the timing of the play, and he still wasn't touched for about 4 or 5 yards.
A real nice job on keeping inside containment was Matt Mayo coming up from his cornerback slot. He's 160 pounds, maybe not, and was able to ward off one of the defenders, turn it inside, and actually make the tackle.
15-yard penalty here against the Merrimack Valley Conference. The key is, folks, that it was a dead ball penalty, so the down counts, and they assess 15 yards against the MVC. I know both coaches do not like what's happened over the last couple of minutes. Far too many personal foul penalties and extracurricular going on.
And as you mentioned earlier, we've got to applaud the officials for not letting this get out of hand. And right now, anything close, they're throwing the flag, which they should.
Scott Carole is trying to get the clock to run, but the clock operator says, no, I'm just not going to do it. There we go. 4:55 to play third quarter. Toussignant goes back into the gun. Shaw is the move man. Here's a quick slant to number 87, Paul Catulli out of Central Catholic.
You know, Paul did, as Mike mentioned, a quick slant, but what he did, what very few receivers do, especially in the high school area, level, is actually catch the ball with his hands, not let the ball get into his chest, and catch it and run with the ball effectively.
Beckley on the tackle.
Jonah Beckley there on the stop. He's had a nice game himself. Beckley out of Melrose High School, played for Timmy Morris. Fourth down, about 7 to go. Has Toussignant back under center. Straight back. Now we'll run for it. He got a great block from Mike Smith, number 99, the big fella out of Chelmsford High School, and Toussignant has the first down at the 21-yard line.
I don't think Joe Dillon saw that the crackback block coming there, and it does appear as though Joe does have all of his teeth in his mouth. You know, one quick thing about Joe Dillon is his father was instrumental in starting this game with Rocky, and really got it going with Rocky for it to become the success that it has been.
In the beginning, Joe did just about everything. He hosted the banquet. He was the game coordinator, the game liaison. He wanted to do it all. He did a great job of it. As Nickerson is wrapped up after a very short gain. Dustin Taylor again on the stop.
You know, Dustin's really making a case for himself to be the defensive MVP of the game, which will be announced with 2 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
Taylor on his way to Western Connecticut College. Boy, those schools, Western, Central, Eastern, down in Connecticut, real good athletics.
Yeah, they certainly do. Real tough football. They obviously draw a lot of kids from Connecticut, which sends a lot of kids up to Syracuse and Boston College. Connecticut has some really good high school football.
Second and 10 for Toussignant. Quick pop pass to Smith, and it goes incomplete. A little hard and a little high to Mike Smith. Smith on his way to St. Anselm's.
So the tough call here for the Merrimack Valley here is that it appears as though they're easily within the range of the field goal kicker for the Merrimack Valley, where they could tie the game up, and you don't want to get too greedy and force a turnover here. It'd be interesting to see if they play conservative to set up for the field goal.
Catulli goes to the far side. Kidd and Bernier, the running backs. Tusignant to the end zone. It is going to be incomplete.
What a nice defensive play there. It looks like it was Devereaux from Stoneham, number 6.
Along with Chris Morris. Eric Mounsey on the field. 4th and 10. He will place the tee down at the 28-yard line. Nope, he's going to place the tee down on the sideline because he's not going to kick this field goal. He is now heading toward the sideline, and he will be replaced by Darren Shaw. So Kenny Maglio has decided he's going to try and put 6 on the board. Nope.
No.
Check it again, folks.
I think they were deciding which tee they were going to use.
Sean Landers in to attempt the field goal. Landers' kick will be online but short. So once again, the Middlesex League has held. They'll take over on downs. After the 30-yard personal foul penalties, they're able to dodge another bullet, but they can't continue to give good offensive teams an opportunity deep in your own territory.
Eventually, it's gonna come back to burn the Middlesex League, and I think Coach Nelson did a nice job being able to regroup his defense and settle him down and be able to hold the line pretty tough there.
Garcia goes to the far side, Berezovsky to the near side, and Kirk Irons is the quarterback. And he'll give it to Sullivan. And the Merrimack Valley defense will give it to Sullivan as well after about a yard gain.
I think now the Middlesex League is really going back to the trademark of the conference, which is really just a smash mouth power eye football going right at people and saying who's a better team right now.
For Zizi in the middle of the last stop for the MVC out of Central Catholic. On his way to Assumption College. Irons, quick pump fake. Has a man wide open on the far sideline. It is a foot race to the corner. Sullivan to the 10, to the 5. Give him 6. Put it up on the board. Touchdown, Middlesex.
Sullivan just ran a wheel route right around the corner. They had their slot receivers hook, which brings up the defensive backs, and the linebacker is just, Mayo made a nice job forcing Sullivan out of bounds earlier, but there is just absolutely no chance he can stay with Sullivan on an open field like that, just a track race.
I believe that's a 62-yard touchdown pass from Irons to Sullivan. A couple of Warriors hooking up to make it 15-6 with 2:03 to play in the third quarter. Craig Iverson will attempt the PAT. Skeffington will hold it. There's got to be a fake in the book here somewhere, partner.
I was thinking that, but you got 2 Woburn kids here, and they've done this a few times at Woburn High.
It is no good. Missed it to the far side, so it's 15-6 after the 62-yard dart from Irons to Sullivan.
I see that Tommy Sousa's bringing down his bingo roller there to pull out the 50-50 winner at the end of the third. I've never seen someone pull the 50-50 with a bingo roller there.
Yeah, the problem becomes if one of us wins, we have to leave the booth and go down and claim our prize.
Well, last year I know Dwayne Sixbury actually won and was gracious enough to actually return all the money. Not that he had much of a choice.
I was going to say that, but sure he did.
Well, Dwayne tried, acting as though, he was a stand-up type of guy, and, I'll definitely give it back. And Rocky just looked at him and said, if you have any plans of marrying my daughter someday, you will give the money back.
Yeah, you could always go and coach in one of those Northeast Conference or Cape Ann League schools as well. So
this is true.
Pelletier to the near side. Jason Wagstaff, who owns a touchdown catch in this game, goes to the far side. Craig Iverson to kick it away. And, we need to thank Craig's dad, Dean Iverson. He had a big part as the fake onside kick there. Dean was the one who commandeered Steve Diossi to be the speaker at the breakfast. And for those of you who saw it, Steve Diossi was just tremendous. Did a terrific job. Really understands the essence of